Hey, this is Fletch from the Eldridge Press. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about something dear to my heart, and that's OSR gaming. There is a wonderful resurgence of this style of gaming. It comes through in many, many products out there. Gritty, real, notoriously unbalanced. You can't fight your way through every encounter. You do need to run away and be smart enough at times to recognize that fact. You learn an appreciation of consequences to making wrong decisions. You will understand how to keep your character alive through using your head, not your dice rolls. Here we're talking about Dungeon Crawl Classics from Goodman Games. Excellent stuff. It offers many, many new concepts, or at least reintroduced concepts that are very refreshing, but it keeps things very simple and familiar to anyone that's playing 5th edition. You can step right into this without any problem. But what they do differently makes a big difference in the way the game is. So first off, the art. We're going through this and we're looking at just fantastic old school style artwork. Predominantly black and white, but this is how it was presented to us in first edition AD&D. The artwork is a list of some of the best artists that there was in D&D during that time, and they still carry over to this day. You're just struck with the artwork, and it's heavy. The first bunch of pages is just art. Man, that just gets my blood going here. I love it. The core principles behind DCC and first edition D&D is, of course, Appendix N. It was inspirational to the creators of Dungeons & Dragons, and it is inspirational to the creators of Dungeon Crawl Classic. What is Appendix N? It's inspirational reading is what it is. I would suggest that if you're looking for a good D&D-ish material to read, you should explore any one of the authors in Appendix N. They are just the best. They inspire me to this day. Just a quick overview. A lot of OSR games now really capture everything that I always liked about gaming. Dungeon Crawl Classics gives a good amount of twist. One of the things is the character funnel. Everybody starts off with 0 level characters, and they go into a situation, and it's a meat grinder. I mean, you're 0 level. You got a couple of hit points, literally. No AC. You're a butcher. You're a farmer. You're a bread maker. I mean, this is what you are. And then you get thrust into this situation. It's unforgiving. It is core to OSR is that you think your way through. It's not so random as just a dice roll being good or bad and pass-fail. You apply your own world experience to the situations that you're in as an adventurer. There's different dice in this. They use a lot of 12-siders, 16-siders, 24-siders. They all do something a little bit different. As you go up in the levels, you get a different kind of a dice to make your attacks or ability checks, and the higher you are, the higher the dice is. And that is a real cool way of scaling level. The character classes are limited compared to 5th edition menagerie of classes. Very Tolkien-esque in that regard. Yes, you're limited in choices, but that's the point. You make your character from limited choices. And it's core to OSR. And you know what? You really do need certain classes. The cleric or the fighter can't do what the rogue does. A magic user can do the arcane stuff, and a cleric can do the divine stuff. The two don't cross over. It doesn't work that way. There's no such thing as anybody but a cleric or a druid curing, and it feels good because of that. They really do give you a lot of options of what you can do in a round, but they have features that you can use in melee combat. Blinding attacks, disarming attacks, pushbacks, precision shots, trips and throws, rallying maneuvers, defensive maneuvers. The fighter has an option to really be able to kind of create what you want and say, jump off the stairwell, land on the chandelier, swing across to the other side, and throw a dagger in the monster down below me as I'm doing that. There's a mechanic in here to allow you to do that. There is also a problem with casting spells. You got awesome magic. It's world-changing. But there is a great cost to those that use them. Over time, there is a corruption that happens to your body, your soul, your psyche. And the longer you live, the higher level you get, the more corruption affects you. There's minor corruptions, and then sometimes there's major corruptions, and it can be from growing gills to having an eyeball that's made of stone. There are a bunch of these things, and it is so in depth with your character. You make these corruptions part of your character, unparalleled in what these small tables, how they make such a difference in a way a character is played. And let me tell you something else. You know what? The deities matter. You don't want to displease them. You really need to appease them. And I just so love that, because it's that chaotic randomness can just turn the world upside down and make for a fantastic campaign. There's a large section on the judge's rules. They still call it a judge. The DM is a judge, a referee, an arbiter. They are impartial and neutral, as all DMs should be. If you are familiar with playing D&D, you will be very comfortable learning these rules. They're not overwhelming at all. I say check this out and show them the love. All right, that's it for me. Fletch from the Eldritch Press, signing off.